Hello children, you're welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time, and today we are revising our previous lessons. Hi, I'm Uncle Agbaje. Our objective for today's lesson will simply be that by the end of the lesson, you should be able to recall important concepts from all that you have been taught previously. So, without wasting much of our time, let's get right into it. Do you have your pens and paper already? Good job, you. We begin with this first question, which says that a straight line that crosses parallel lines is called dash. A straight line which crosses parallel line is called dash. And the options are vertical line, horizontal line, transversal, or diagonal. What do we call a straight line that crosses parallel lines? Have you selected your answer? I have selected mine as well. Let's unveil it. It is a transversal. Is that what you selected? Good job, you. The next question says, which angle is corresponding to 8 in this diagram? So study the diagram closely. We have options 1, 4, 5, and 7. Which angle is corresponding to angle 8? You have seen the answer? Let's see what it is. The angle, of course, is angle 4. And the reason is because this is angle 8. And remember that we recognize corresponding angle by drawing an F. So obviously this is the F. Now if this angle is below the line, the corresponding angle will also be below the other line. So 4 is the angle that corresponds to 8. Good job, you. The next question says, which of these statements is not true about the diagram? That is, study the diagram. All statements are true except one. You have to identify which one is not true. So first option says B is vertically opposite to C. Second option says C is alternate to F. Third option says D is equal to 60 degrees. And the last option says B is corresponding to H. So which one is not true? Have you selected your answer? Let's see what it is then. The correct option is that B is corresponding to H. This is the wrong statement out of all this. Let's say B is vertically opposite to C. As you can see, B and C are facing each other in the X. C is alternate to F. So this is C. And to find alternate angles, you go into the Z, the elbow of the Z. So this is C and this is F. Then D is 60 degrees. Yes, because they are both vertically opposite, and vertically opposite angles are equal. But this last one that is wrong says B is corresponding to H. Now this is B and this is H. They are not corresponding, because if we identify the F, B is above, it is F that is corresponding to B. Let's move on. What is the value of angle A in this diagram? It's actually very simple. The options are A is 120 degrees because they are supplementary angles. Second says A is 58 degrees because they are alternate angles. Third one says A is 58 degrees because they are corresponding angles. And the last one says A is 58 degrees because they are vertically opposite angles. Obviously, there is no calculation involved. Have you found your answer? Without wasting time, let's unveil it. Voila! A is 58 degrees, and that is because it is alternate to 58 degrees. This is 58 degrees here, and then we draw the Z. 58 is in the elbow, so A will be in the other elbow, and A will be 58 because they are alternate angles. Good job, you. Let us move on. Interior opposite angles are dash. You have to complete the statement. Interior opposite angles are dash. Are they complementary? Are they supplementary? Are they equal, or are they parallel? Interior opposite angles, don't forget the one that is recognized with the U. Are they complementary, supplementary, equal, or parallel? Well, the correct option is that they are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. Is that what you selected? Then, amazing job, you. Next question says, what is the value of angle R and S? Now you need to calculate quickly. I'll give you enough time. What is the value of angle R and S given that diagram? Start your calculation right away. The options are R is 45 and S is 135. Option A. B is R is 135 and S is 45. C is R is 145 and S is 45. And the last one is R is 45 and S is 145. Which one is the correct option? I believe you have gotten your answer right about now. Let's just unveil it. Correct option is that R is 45 and S is 135. Let's just see why that is true. Now here we're shown that this angle is 45 degrees, so vertically opposite angles, they will be 45 degrees. And if this angle is 45 degrees, R will also be 45 degrees because they are corresponding angles. This is the F. So if this one is above the line, the other corresponding angle will be above the line. That's R. Now, if R is now 45 degrees, S is on a straight line with R. So you have to find the supplement of 145, and that is 135 degrees. So finally, R is 45 and S is 135 degrees. I believe that is what you got as well. Let's move on. This question says, what is the value of angle M? You have to use the fact that all the angles are around the point and get your answer very, very quickly. Well, I believe your answer should be coming up right on about now on your papers. So let's see what the correct option will be. It should be 169. That is true because angles around the point must add up to what? To 360 degrees. So if we add up all these angles, we have 100 plus 28, that's 128, then plus 63, that is 191. Now, if we subtract 191 from 360, we will get 169, my friend. Let us move on. We have to find the angles A and B in the diagram that is shown. You should have started working out your answer by now. I'll give you about 10-15 seconds to see. So the options are A is 56 and B is 124. A is 56 and B is 134. 134. A is 124 and B is 56. And finally, A is 134 and B is 56. What did you get? Your answer should be popping up on your paper right about now. Okay, so let's see what that answer will be. It says A is 56 and B is 124. Why? Let's show you how that answer is arrived at. Now, if B is 56, then if this angle is 56, then A will also be 56. Do you know why? Because they are corresponding angles. Now, if this is 56, angles on a straight line, you're going to get B to be 124 because they're supplements of each other and they must add up to 180. So subtract 56 from 180, you will get 124, my friend. Is that what you got? Then good job you. Now the key is that you have to learn to work very smart and you have to learn to work very, very fast. Let's move on. Now, which of the following is not true about an isosceles triangle? An isosceles triangle, do you remember all the properties? Which of these properties does not belong to an isosceles triangle? It has one line of symmetry. Two of its sides are parallel. Two of its angles are equal. Two of its sides are equal. Which of these does not fit the profile of an isosceles triangle? It's popping out right at me. I believe you can see it as well. It's as obvious as day. Two of its sides are parallel. I mean, that does not apply to a triangle. No triangle has two of its sides to be parallel. I mean, that belongs to quadrilaterals. So, but for an isosceles triangle, it has one line of symmetry which runs down the center. It has two angles that are equal, the base angles, and two of the sides are also equal. So, let's move on. The longer side of a right angle triangle is called what? That should be easy for you. There's nothing to calculate there. The options are hypotenuse, transversal, chord, or diagonal. I believe you've selected your answer. It is called the hypotenuse. As you can see, good job you. A line that divides a plane shape into two equal parts, what do we call that line? Is it a vertical line, a horizontal line, a symmetry line, or a transversal line? Did I hear you correct symmetry? Then you are correct. Correct option there is the symmetry line. Now let's move on to the next question. Which triangle has none of its sides to be equal? There are about 4 different types of triangle that you were taught. There's a particular one that has none of its sides to be equal and none of its angles to be equal. What is the name? The options are obtuse angle triangle, isosceles triangle, equilateral triangle, or scalene triangle. Have you selected your answer? Should I give you some more time? Well, I believe you're smart children and the answer is really popping out at you and you've selected it. It is a scalene triangle. The next question says, which of these is not true about all quadrilaterals? I mean, study these properties. All quadrilaterals, have all the quadrilaterals, imagine them in your mind and say, they have all their angles equal. Is that true? They all have 4 sides. Is that true? They all have 4 angles. Is that true? They are flat shapes. Is that true? Well, don't let my face confuse you. Which one is not applying or not applicable to quadrilaterals? The correct option is the first one. They have all the angles equal. No, not all quadrilaterals have their angles equal. I mean, a parallelogram will not have all its angles equal. A trapezium will not have all its angles equal. A rhombus will not have all its angles equal. So those are quadrilaterals that have their angles, all of them or some of them, unequal to others. So this option is wrong. Not all quadrilaterals have their angles equal. Which quadrilaterals have only 2 lines of symmetry? Remember symmetry line? We fold it, they are equal. We fold it again, they are equal. Which of these pair of quadrilaterals have only 2 lines of symmetry? First one is rhombus and rectangle. Do they have 2 lines of symmetry? Rhombus and square. Do they have 2 lines of symmetry? Parallelogram and rectangle. Do they have 2 lines of symmetry? Parallelogram and square. Do they have 2 lines of symmetry? Which one is your answer, my friend? Is that your final answer? Final answer? Alright, let's see what the correct answer is. The correct answer is rhombus and rectangle. Yeah, congratulations you. Rhombus has 2 lines of symmetry along the diagonal and a rectangle has 2 lines of symmetry along the parallel sides. A square has 4 lines of symmetry. A parallelogram has no line of symmetry. Okay, so rhombus and rectangle is the correct answer. Which quadrilaterals have 4 right angles? Which quadrilaterals have 4 right angles inside? So the options are squares and rhombuses, squares and rectangles, parallelograms and rhombuses, parallelograms and rectangles. The answer is obvious, but have you selected your answer? And is that your final answer? Is that your really final answer? All right, let's see. The answer should be squares and rectangles. Good job, you. And if you remember the song that we sang, it says, rectangles have 4 right angles, rhombus has 4 sides that are equal, squares have 4 equal sides, 4 right angles. So squares have 4 right angles, rectangles have 4 right angles, and that is the correct option. Now this one. Which quadrilaterals have all sides equal? Which quadrilaterals have all 4 sides equal? This should be easy for you. The options are squares and rectangles, rhombuses and rectangles, rhombuses and parallelograms, rhombuses and squares. And I believe you have selected your answer, but is that your final answer? Final answer. All right, get ready to jump up if you're correct. The correct answer should be rhombuses and squares. Good job, you. Because if you remember that song that we sang the other day, it says rectangles have 4 right angles, rhombus have 4 sides that are equal, rhombus have 4 sides that are equal, squares have 4 equal sides, 4 right angles. So rhombus have 4 sides that are equal, squares also have 4 equal sides. So this is the correct answer, my friend. Now, which of these statements is not true? So the first one is squares are a type of parallelogram. Second one is squares are a type of rectangle. Third one is all parallelograms are rectangles. The fourth one is all rhombuses are parallelogram. Which of them is not true? Take your time, take your time. Should have your answer by now. So let's unveil the correct answer. And I think that should be the third one. Yes. All parallelograms are rectangles? No. Squares are a type of parallelogram because the basic property of a parallelogram is that it will have parallel sides, two sets of parallel sides. Parallelograms have two sets of parallel lines. And so a square has two sets of parallel lines as well. So that makes it fall under a parallelogram. Squares are a type of rectangle, yes, because the basic property of a rectangle is that it must have 4 right angles. And a square also have 4 right angles and all 4 sides equal. So a square is a type of rectangle. Now, all parallelograms are rectangles? No, because a rectangle must have 4 corners, 4 right angles, but not all parallelograms have that. Okay, now all rhombuses are parallelogram. That is also correct. So, and to the final question of the day. This question says the sum of angles in any quadrilateral is dash degrees. How many degrees if you add up all the angles in a quadrilateral? Any quadrilateral whatsoever. The options are 360 degrees, 180 degrees, 120 degrees, 90 degrees. Think critically, it's in that song that I taught you. Select your answer. Alright, the answer is 360 degrees. If you remember the song, quadrilaterals have 4 sides and 4 angles. Parallelogram, rhombuses, trapezoids, squares and rectangles. And if you add the angles inside each of these, they'll give 360 degrees. I hope you selected that. Alrighty then. We have come to the end of the revision session for today's mathematics class. It is now time that I hand you over to Uncle Popo for the revision session of the general studies lesson. Till I come your way in the next class, remain wonderful mathemagicians.